A very good morning to everyone. So we have our regular Saturday meet of the Pune Camp CPE Study Circle, and today we have a session on wills and family succession planning. But before going to the main topic, we as a chartered accountants have a major issue of recovery from our clients. So the common term is used amongst this clients is अरे CA आप तो आपके पास तो बहुत पैसा है. So and we know what is our working capital and what the recovery issue is. So and at many times what happens, the senior members think that मैं कैसे पैसे मांगू, ये मेरे प्रोफेशन है और मैं पैसे कैसे मांगू, ये एक चीज हो जाती है. और बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज आती है कि वी कैन नॉट रिमाइंड देम. So what if I tell you that without reminding them, you can remind them or you can hammer them that yes, this is my due, and this is all in an automated process. और आपको कोई एक ना एक एम्प्लॉय रखने की जरूरत है और ना ही एक अलग से बंदा रखने की जरूरत है जो ये सब काम करेगा. So of 1.5 months ago, so we came with a in contact with one of the softwares application called the Credflow app, and the Credflow app is into the automated recovery system. So after using for around 1.5 months or more than 1.5 months, we all Pune Camp members were using it, and we thought that this is really a good app and we should present this before the Pune Camp members. And with this intention, I have Mr. Randeep from the Credflow app. He's the channel head with prior experience across sales and marketing in various startups, and he's currently looking after the channel partnership pan India of Credflow. So, Randeep ji, if you can just take ahead from here and explain about the software.
Okay. Thank you, Chaitanya ji. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine. So as Chaitanya ji told me, currently I'm looking after channel partnership and everything. And when Chaitanya ji told me that we have this study cycle and we really loved your product and want every member of us to use it, I was very delighted because of this positive feedback. So without further ado, let me start with what who we are, what we are doing, and then I will give you a brief demo of the feature and all the features that we have in the Credflow. So basically, Credflow was started by Mr. Kunal Agarwal. He passed out from IIT Delhi. Before this, he started another startup which was in B2B chemical procurement, but most of the amount was stuck in invoices. As Chaitanya ji said, कि parties invoices वगैरह के अब payment type पे नहीं आ रहा था. And then he realized this larger problem, cash flow की, payment recovery की, receivable management की. And that's when he started working on this problem. उन्होंने इस पे काफी काम किया and we started Credflow. We have recently raised $2.1 million basically to fulfill our this vision कि SMEs की service provider के लिए we have to build a full stack financial service product and product. So this is our team. Mr. Kunal Agarwal, as I told you, is our founder and CEO. Then Mr. Ankul Singla was BD head in Capital Float. He's our shadow co-founder, the helping hand basically. He's very senior. And then Mr. Yogesh Singh is basically he was also founding team member of BharatPe, now a multi-billion-dollar company. He's our business and operations head. Right? So this is basically about our vision, technology, and what we want to achieve in this field. Even now, most of the SMEs are not that technological friendly, right? They are still not process oriented. अभी भी वो rely करते हैं अपना वही diary पे, pen पे, and word of mouth वगैरह पे. So we are changing that. Now coming back to about Credflow and what we do. So Credflow is basically payment collection automation tool based on Tally. We help you with your payment collection process. तो उसमें जो भी आपके छोटे छोटे हैसल्स होते हैं, लाइक चेतन जी सेड कि बार बार उनको बोलना, उनके इनवॉइसेस सेंड करना, लेजर सेंड करना, उनको रिमाइंड कराना कि आप कितनी पेमेंट पेंडिंग है, वी टेक केयर ऑफ ऑल दैट. आप जस्ट एक बार सिस्टम को इंटीग्रेट कीजिए, यू डिफाइन कि किस पार्टी का कितना क्रेडिट टर्म्स है, उनको कब कब रिमाइंडर जाने चाहिए, किस मीडियम से जाने चाहिए, एंड वो आपका ऑटोमेटिकली वर्क करता रहता है, राइट। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जस्ट so once you log in, you come to this dashboard. We have three elements basically. One is desktop application, second is web application, and third is mobile application. So आप desktop application से अपनी company sync वगैरह करते हैं, then you come to this dashboard. Once your company is synced, आपकी जितनी भी companies होंगी, you can see it over here. So you can select जो भी आपको देखनी है, and based on that आपको यहाँ पे complete dashboard मिलता है, where you get your overview of your business कि कितना मेरे कितने दिनों में pending है, like आपका विद इन क्रेडिट लिमिट्स 1 to 15 डेज के ब्रैकेट में जो आपका आउटस्टैंडिंग है, ओवरड्यू है, एंड सो ऑन। यहाँ पे फिर आपको बेसिकली 4 ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिलती है ऑफ योर आउटस्टैंडिंग अमाउंट, एवरेज कलेक्शन पीरियड, सेल्स ट्रेंड एंड कलेक्शन, सो दैट एज अ बिजनेस ओनर यू हैव एन इनसाइट कि आपको किस चीज पे फोकस करने की जरूरत है। आफ्टर दैट the most important menu is our collect menu. This is where you get all the detailed summary of your debtors कि उनका आउटस्टैंडिंग कितना है, ओवरड्यू कितना है, कितने डेटर्स हैं, आपने किसी को एडवांस पे किया हो तो दैट टू, एंड देन दिस डिटेल समरी कि द पार्टीज उनका कितना ड्यू है, ओवरड्यू उनकी लास्ट पेमेंट कब आई थी, एवरेज कलेक्शन पीरियड उनका क्या रहता है, जो ओल्डेस्ट इनवॉइसेस है वो कितने दिन से पेंडिंग है, एंड देन these are 4 action that you can take basically to remind them, that is SMS, email, IVR call and WhatsApp. So you can automate via these last three, that is SMS, email and IVR से आप automate कर सकते हैं उनको, automatically जैसे भी आप set करेंगे उनको reminder जाते रहेंगे। For WhatsApp you have to click on it, basically one click and then it will be sent, and ये सारी चीज आप edit contact से manage कर सकते हैं कि उनका पेमेंट टर्म क्या है, अकाउंट मैनेजर इफ यू हैव एनी, वो जरूरत नहीं है। सो वंस यू इनेबल ऑटो रिमाइंडर, देयर आर 2 टाइप ऑफ रिमाइंडर, वन इज फ्रीक्वेंसी रिमाइंडर, अदर इज डेट वाइज रिमाइंडर। सो फ्रीक्वेंसी इज हाउ फ्रीक्वेंटली यू वांट टू रिमाइंड दैट इज आफ्टर एवरी 5 days, 7 days, 2 days, 10 days, जैसा भी आपको ठीक लगता है, बिकॉज सारी पार्टीज एक जैसी नहीं होती हैं। एंड देन इज डेट वाइज कि आप चाहते हैं कि नहीं यार ऐसे इनफ्रीक्वेंटली ना जाए, आई वांट ऑन स्पेसिफिक डेट्स, दैट इज ऑन 1st of the month, 15th of the month एंड सो ऑन, तो आप वो डेट सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यू कैन पुट क्रेडिट कंट्रोल, सो दैट आपके माइंड में रहेगा कि किसी पार्टी का 100 दिन से ज्यादा आउटस्टैंडिंग है, सर्टेन अमाउंट दैट इज 1 लाख, 2 लाख, 10 लाख, तो जैसे ही उन पे वापस से कुछ आपका इनवॉइस क्रिएट होता है, कुछ होता है, यू विल गेट एन अलर्ट कि इस पार्टी पे ऑलरेडी इतना है, यू आर ब्रीचिंग द कंडीशंस। देन इज प्राइमरी मोड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन कि आप उस पार्टी से कम्युनिकेट कैसे करना चाहते हैं, वाया ईमेल, वाया SMS और IVR कॉल। आपके IVR कॉल में एक SMS भी आपका जाता ही जाता है। Then these contact details are fetched from Tally only. Tally में नहीं है, then you can define it in our system. One other unique thing that we have is a link through which your party can access everything. वो आपको ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि सर कौन सा इनवॉइस, हमारा लेजर क्या है, हमने पेमेंट की थी आपको, आपने उसमें है नहीं, तो ये सारी चीजें आपकी रेक्टिफाई हो जाती हैं। They can access everything from this link only. This link is also available in the SMS as well. In email, the PDF and invoices are sent in PDF format basically. So यहाँ पे आप वो अपना अमाउंट देख सकते हैं, उनके कितने इनवॉइसेस पेंडिंग है, उनका अमाउंट कितना है, डिटेल्स रिलेटेड टू दैट। इफ दे वांट टू सी इट इन PDF फॉर्म, वो उसको क्लिक कर सकते हैं, डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। एंड देन इफ दे वांट टू डाउनलोड इट, तो यहाँ से वो PDF फॉर्म में डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। अदर थिंग दैट वी हैव सीन इज कि पार्टीज व्हेन इट्स टाइम टू फॉर देम टू पे अस, वो बोलते हैं मुझे पर्टिकुलर इनवॉइस में प्रॉब्लम है, मैं उसकी पेमेंट नहीं करूंगा। सो दे कैन रेज एन इशू ऑन द इनवॉइस पहले ही, ताकि यू कैन रेक्टिफाई इट इन टाइमली मैनर और पेमेंट डिले आपकी ना हो। ऑल्सो दे कैन एक्नॉलेज द इनवॉइस, एंड इफ दे वांट टू सी देयर लेजर, तो वहां यहाँ से अपना लेजर देख सकते हैं। In future, that is 1 to 2 months, we will also be automating this whole process, so they will be able to pay you directly through this pay now button. अभी यहाँ पे बैंक डिटेल शेयर होती है, but we will incorporate payment gateway and virtual account, so your parties will be able to pay you directly. वो वहीं से आपकी टैली में चला जाएगा, सेटल हो जाएगा, रिसीट विल बी क्रिएटेड एंड पार्टी के साथ रिसीट शेयर भी हो जाएगी। other thing is you can keep track of this link कि पार्टी ने कितने बजे किस डेट को वो आपको ओपन किया था लिंक। तो ऐसे नहीं होगा कि वो आपको बोलेंगे सर हमने तो देखा ही नहीं, कब आपने भेजा था, कब मुझे किया था, ये सारी चीजें नहीं होगी। ये सारी चीजें आपके एसएमएस में भी सेम लिंक आपको ओपन होता है। आईवीआर कॉल भी जाती है कि आई एम कॉलिंग फ्रॉम लेट्स से पुणे कैंप, यू हैव एन आउटस्टैंडिंग अमाउंट ऑफ दिस मच, प्लीज पे एज सुन एज पॉसिबल। ये आप हिंदी में भी सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं। अदर मेन थिंग इज सपोज आपकी किसी से बात हुई एंड यू आर द ओनली पर्सन हु इज मैनेजिंग एवरीथिंग, राइट। सो अभी आपने किसी से बात की, पार्टी ने आपको बोला कि आई विल पे यू सर, मेरे को आप, मैं आपको है ना आपका जो इतना भी ड्यू है 10,000 का 20,000 का, मैं आपको पे कर देता हूँ आप ऑन 15th ऑफ दिस मंथ। एंड आपने, उन्होंने बोला कि आप किसी से चेक कलेक्ट करवा लीजिएगा या फिर मेरे को एक बार रिमाइंड करा दीजिएगा, यू कैन फिल दोज डिटेल्स ओवर हियर। And if you enable this option, that is send reminder on task date, so party के पास, that is your debtor, automatically reminder चला जाएगा that they promise us to pay this much amount on this date, right? And if you enable acknowledgement now and you hit submit, तो उनके पास एक message आएगा that you have promised us to pay 10,000 on 15th of this month, right? So आपको बस एक बार ये करना है and it will automatically event. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, अगर आप ये टास्क वगैरह बनाते हैं तो यू कैन मैनेज एवरीथिंग। यहाँ पे भी आपका ये नेक्स्ट फॉलोअप में आता रहता है, सो दैट यू हैव एन आइडिया कि किससे क्या बात हुई थी एंड कब उनसे दोबारा फॉलोअप लेना है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आप ये सारी चीजें सीआरएम से मैनेज कर सकते हैं अपकमिंग टास्क में, एंड आपको पता रहेगा अच्छा अच्छा इससे बात हुई थी, मेरे को इससे इतना अमाउंट लेना है, इन्होंने मुझे ये बोला था। एंड वंस यू गेट पेमेंट फ्रॉम देम, यू कैन क्लिक ऑन मार्क एज डन एंड दिस विल बी एज क्लोज टास्क। एंड किसी पे आप बात नहीं कर पाते हैं, आपकी टीम बात नहीं कर पाती है, तो वो आपको ओपन टास्क में रहेंगे, तो बेसिकली यू विल हैव एन क्लियर अंडरस्टैंडिंग किस पार्टी पे किस लेवल की बातें चल रही हैं, उनसे क्या मुझे लेना है, उन्होंने क्या क्या पहले मुझे बोला हुआ है। ऑल्सो पेमेंट हमारी ओन अकाउंट्स में अगर आपकी आती है तो वी सेटल इट ऑन फीफो बेसिस, फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट। यू कैन हैव एन एजिंग समरी एनालिसिस, किस पार्टी का कितने बकेट का है, यू कैन चेंज अकॉर्डिंग टू जो भी आपके क्रेडिट टर्म्स हैं। You can see the history, आप उनकी प्रायोरिटी सेट कर सकते हैं, and if you want to see details of particular party, you just click on it, आपको उनका पूरी डिटेल्स आ जाएंगी, उनके ड्यू इनवॉइसेस, पेड इनवॉइसेस, क्रेडिट नोट्स, पेमेंट रिसीव्ड, बिल्स, लेजर। लेजर में if you want to send them ledger, तो आप ये कुछ ऑप्शंस हैं, you can also custom define it, the time duration। आप पीडीएफ फॉर्म में डाउनलोड करके भेज सकते हैं, ईमेल, एसएमएस, व्हाट्सएप डायरेक्टली यहीं से कर सकते हैं सारी चीजें। आपको उनको बल्क में सबको पेमेंट रिमाइंडर भेजने हैं तो आप सेंड बल्क के थ्रू यहाँ से आप सबको एक बार में मैसेज भेज सकते हैं, आइदर ईमेल, एसएमएस एंड आईवीआर। व्हाट्सएप में मल्टीपल विंडोज ओपन हो जाती हैं, देन यू कैन सेंड इट। डाटा समरीज बेसिकली आपका उनके पास्ट मंथ से ट्रेंड दिखता है कि उनके कैसे रिस्पॉन्स है। सेल्स मैनेजर रिपोर्ट, आपके अगर सेल्स मैनेजर होते हैं तो उनका बेसिकली यू कैन ट्रैक देयर प्रोग्रेस। प्रोजेक्टेड कलेक्शन इज बेसिकली वी यूज अवर AIMI टू टेल यू कि आपका कितना अमाउंट आने के चांसेस है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द पास्ट बिहेवियर ऑफ द डेटर, इनवॉइसेस कब रेज हुए थे एंड कितने मैच्योर हो रहे हैं ओवरड्यू वगैरह, ऑन दैट एनालिसिस। CRM I have already told you about, where you can manage your follow-up task. Incentive schemes are basically if you decide to give them some kind of incentive to pay you early, that is cash discount scheme, तो वो आप यहाँ पे define कर सकते हैं, but I think service providing industry में ये नहीं होते हैं। चैतन्य, am I right?
होता है, मतलब ऐसे नहीं होता है, बट कम ही होता है।
ठीक है, so you can add schemes जहाँ पे you can basically give them incentive, if you pay them within 10 days then you will give them 2% discount, if they pay you within like 2 days you will give them 10% discount। so accordingly यहाँ पे आप various incentive scheme define कर सकते हैं। you can select कि किसके साथ ये share करना है, the debtors basically your parties, customers, तो यहाँ पे आप वो select कर सकते हैं सारे। then in communication you will have a clear understanding, you can filter it out by debtors name, account manager, type of communication, so that आपको ये रहे कि एक particular पार्टी से, कस्टमर से आपके क्या क्या कम्युनिकेशन हुआ है, कब कब हुआ है, सो यू विल हैव अ चेन बेसिकली हिस्ट्री, सो दैट वो आपको बार बार आपको पता चल जाएगी यार ये बार बार मुझे सेम ही चीज तो नहीं बोल रहा है, बहाने नहीं लगा रहा है, तो आपके पास एक रिटर्न में फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन रहता है. पे इज फॉर योर वेंडर्स, बेसिकली इफ यू हैव एनी वेंडर तो उनका पेबल वगैरह कितना है. Invoices, you can see all the invoices कितने दिन से pending है, and you can see due invoices, paid invoices, debtor wise आप उनको select कर सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं कितने दिन से pending है. Also you can create receipts through our system. अगर आपके किसी को आप पेमेंट लेने भेजते हैं या कुछ है तो you can create receipt. This receipt will goes into tally as an optional voucher, तो आप वहाँ पे verify करके इसको settle कर सकते हैं. You can create receipt, इसमें आपके invoice reference वगैरह भी हैं तो you can give those invoice reference as well. You can enter everything and then this will go into tally. If you want to see your bills कि आपके bills वगैरह कौन से हैं. Also as I told you, after this payment collection, that is आप अपने debtor से payment ले पाएं, we will also integrate payouts, so directly आप अपने vendors को यहाँ से pay भी कर पाएंगे. That is through this bill. Then you can see payment done, debit notes. Stock item I guess आपका इतना नहीं रहेगा, but we have a feature जहाँ पे you can maintain your stocks and everything, कितना बिका है कितना क्या है, and then basically उनके related invoices वगैरह ये सब कुछ. Apart from that, अगर if you have PDC with you, you take or give PDCs to your parties या vendors, so आप उनको यहाँ पे manage कर सकते हैं. You don't have to write in your checkbook कि किसको क्या दिया है. So you add check over here, उसका status आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, status update कर सकते हैं. So it will be managed over here. तो आपने जितने भी चेक दिए हैं लिए हैं उनका पूरा रिकॉर्ड आपका यहाँ पे रह जाता है. If you want to give access to your someone in your maybe organization कि आप वो मैनेज कर लें आपके भी आप पे कुछ ऐसा है तो you can give them access as well. You can invite different users, give them restricted access कि सारी parties, payables वगैरह बैंक डिटेल्स उनको ना दिखे. Apart from that, setting में आपको basically you can add your company logo, signature, company name, and this is the email ID through which automatic email communication will happen. And then you can add your bank details, your credit control. Then in our system आपके जितने भी इनवॉइसेस होते हैं डेली के वो 5 बजे पार्टीज के साथ ऑटोमेटिकली शेयर हो जाते हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आपकी रिसीट्स होती हैं वो ऑटोमेटिकली शेयर हो जाती हैं, पीडीसी ऑटो शेयर हो जाता है. वी आर आल्सो वर्किंग ऑन लेजर ऑटो शेयरिंग, तो आपके लेजर्स भी ऑटोमेटिकली शेयर होने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे. देन इज रिमाइंडर सेटिंग कि सपोज किसी से आपकी बहुत शॉर्ट पेमेंट है दैट इज 3%, तो आप उसको रिमाइंडर नहीं भेजना चाहेंगे राइट, तो आप यू कैन इनेबल दिस, तो उनको रिमाइंडर नहीं जाएंगे. इफ समवन हैव पेड यू रिसेंटली, रिसेंटली कैन बी एनीथिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू यू, दैट इज 2 days 5 days 7 days 10 days, जैसा भी आपका ठीक रहता है यू कैन डिफाइन दोज डेज. तो किसी ने भी उस टाइम फ्रेम के अंदर पेमेंट की होगी तो दे विल नॉट रिसीव ऑटोमेटिक रिमाइंडर्स. देन इज पीडीसी कि आपके पास किसी का पोस्ट डेटेड चेक है तो दे विल आल्सो नॉट रिसीव रिमाइंडर्स. Apart from that, you get reports on your WhatsApp and email daily and weekly, your outstanding collection, business report, sales manager report, etc. And आपके कौन से invoices overdue हो रहे हैं ये आपको मेल पे आता है. Then you can select various template SMS के, WhatsApp के, हिंदी इंग्लिश IVR के जो आपके अलग अलग उसमें यूज होते हैं, either invoice sharing में, आपके ऑटो रिसीट शेयरिंग में, पेमेंट रिमाइंडर शेयरिंग में, तो ये आप यहाँ पे सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. देन यू कैन इनेबल सीसी, तो जो भी कम्युनिकेशन होगा आप उसमें सीसी में रहेंगे. वी आर ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन कि आपका इफ यू हैव एनी डोमेन जी सूट के साथ तो यू विल बी एबल टू इंटीग्रेट इट एज वेल. वी आर दिस विल बी कमिंग सून, सो आप अपने सेंडर आईडी से मेल सेंड कर पाएंगे. Right. Apart from this, we have all this feature in mobile application and some more. Like I will show you.
Sir, we will have to close.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So basically, mobile application में you can share offers, greetings, your top customer, inactive customers. Accordingly, आप उनको target कर सकें. And this is it from my side. I will drop my resource person that is Mr. Harsh. तो किसी को 1-to-1 session रखना हो like to know more about the features and trial version, we have a 7-day trial version as well that is free of cost, तो वो आप avail कर सकते हैं. मैं चैतन्य जी के साथ हर्ष का नंबर और इनकी ईमेल आईडी वगैरह शेयर कर दूंगा. Apart from that, because of this session and esteemed member of Pune Camp Study Circle, we will be giving you 30% discount on our plans, that is Saver Plan, Light Plan, Super Saver and Light Plus Plan. And we have a lifetime plan, and we will be giving you 10% discount on that if you register today only. Sure, sir. And you can basically explore everything from credflow.in, and then Chaitanya ji, please share hers or my number so that they can get in touch with me. Okay, sure.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.
थैंक यू रणदीप जी. जस्ट एक छोटी सी चीज बताना चाहूंगा कि ये जो ऐप है, दिस इज डायरेक्टली गेटिंग सिंक्ड विद आवर टैली. सो इफ
Yes.
यू आर मेंटेनिंग योर अकाउंट्स इन टैली, जस्ट वन टाइम टास्क यू हैव टू डू कि आपको जो आपके क्लाइंट्स है वो ऑटोमेटिकली क्रेडिटफ्लो ऐप में आ जाएंगे. आपको उनके सामने नंबर्स और ईमेल आईडी डालना है और फ्रीक्वेंसी सेट करना है. वंस यू आर डन, इट इज ऑल ऑटोमेटेड, तो वो देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. And as discussed with you, Randeep ji, you are giving a special discount to Pune Camp members, that is 30%, and 10% discount on life membership, right?
Yes, lifetime plan is not mentioned anywhere because it's a limited kind of thing, and we only offer to some of our associations or key partners. So
Yes.
That's why you will not be able to find it anywhere. And on top of that, we are giving you 10% discount because of your.
Yes, yes. So there are few issues which need to be resolved. So even if any member contacts today and if the member finds there are issues, so kindly give them the lifetime discount also.
Sure, sir. Basically, we will help them with everything, and if they face any issue, or then we will rectify it, and then the deal will still stand.
Yes, yes. So I'll be sharing with the link and the code given to Pune Camp to all the members after the session. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Randeep ji, once again. So,
thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Moving ahead with our session for the day, wills and family succession planning. We have with us Advocate Imran Makhani sir, who is a advocate, High Court of Bombay. He is currently the managing partner at HK Legal and ICANN Legal LLP, and carrying out due diligence for real estate projects and property transactions, advising clients for transaction structuring for real estate and related projects, litigation advisory, research and strategy for litigation, negotiating commercial contracts for corporate as well as clients, advisory of alternate dispute resolution and representation in various arbitration and conciliation matters. He's also into advising corporate clients for their daily requirements, advising startups with necessary documents and compliances, and risk advisory in commercial and real estate transactions. Imran sir, on behalf of Pune Camp CP Study Circle, I Chaitanya Vakharia again welcome you and request you to begin with your session.
Chaitanya ji, thank you so much for your warm welcome. I would like to share my screen now. Please, may I?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So largely, I will be like, you know, that succession in itself is a huge topic. It covers the succession by testamentary succession and non-testamentary succession. Testamentary essentially means that succession by making a will, which is also known as planned succession in common parlance. And non-testamentary succession means the succession where the law of the land takes its recourse after the death of the person. Now, the topic is huge and vast. So in order to maintain the timelines, I have curtailed the topic and I will be concentrating largely on the wills. We will touch base on non-testamentary succession, but like the topic suggested, succession planning. So we will be going back by how the wills are done. So we will start with the introduction. Laws of succession relate to legal principles of distribution of assets of a deceased individual. As we all understand, corporate persons have a perpetual existence, therefore are not covered in this and have separate laws relating to winding up, reorganization and closure. The law of succession can be broadly divided into two parts. Firstly, where a person has expired without leaving behind will, which will make an intestate succession in legal language. and second, where the deceased has left behind a valid and enforceable will. Now, what is important over here is that the valid will should not only be, there should be a will, but it should be valid and enforceable. The moment the will becomes invalid or is unenforceable for any reasons whatsoever, the person's planning fails and the law of succession takes its own recourse. Then there is classification of assets. Assets are basically two types. Largely, except of Hindus, everybody is all other individuals are covered by self-acquired property. In Hindu, there is a concept of HUF, that is joint Hindu family properties. Other types of assets can be divided into movable, immovable, tangible, actionable claim, which means that any claim that is future receivable or by a party from the other party on account of happening or non-happening of certain events is an actionable claim. Some right in the property to use and occupy the property, which is commonly known as tenancy, or in basic languages, we also use the word pagdi system, where you are not the owner of the property, but you've paid the huge premium for the property, and then now there is a mere amount of tenancy that you're using. Under the will, there is a concept of creation of life interest. Now, life interest is where the deceased wants to give the property to a third person, but wants the security of the second person. What happens is, suppose there is a husband, wife, and a child. The husband intends to give the property to the child, but wants to secure the interest of the wife in the house. So a life interest can be created. Like the word suggests, life interest means the interest in the property during the lifetime of the person in whom the life interest is created. Now, this life interest has its own limitations. The person in whose favor such life interest is created cannot sell the property, cannot dispose of the property, cannot destroy the property, or cannot do anything that damages the property. She can use the property to the advantage, or at max, if the instructions so permit, derive income out of that property. So, but the property cannot be sold. So, life interest is dealt where the interest of the life is created in favor of a person, and ultimate transfer happens in the favor of some third person. This is a chart which broadly deals with what we've discussed till now. When a person dies without making a will, if he is a Hindu, Jain, Sikh, Buddhist, the Hindu Succession Act will take its recourse. Basically, under the Hindu Succession Act, what is defined is there are 4 classes of heirs defined for a male Hindu who will inherit the property in case of the death of the Hindu male. The class 1, if there are more than one heirs in that class, then all the heirs get equal in that class. Class 1 of Hindu Succession Act deals with class 1 of legal heirs will be wife and children and mother. The father is not included in the class 1 legal heirs of a Hindu male. Now, this also includes the predeceased children of those mentioned above. So, if there is a son who is predeceased, but his children are there, then they constitute the class 1. Then, if there are more than one legal heirs in the class 1, all the legal heirs will equally take. Suppose if there is a widow, a daughter, and a predeceased son of son, so all 3 of them take the estate equally. If there are no heirs in class 1, then it goes to class 2, which is father, grandparents, grandchildren, brothers, and sisters. So what happens is that if there are no heirs in class 1, then it goes to class 2. If one heir is also in class 1, then that one heir will take the full property. Similarly, this goes to class 2. So if there is father, brother, and sister, then all 3 of them share the property equally. There is class 3 and class 4 also, which will go into details of other relatives. The common law deals with the fact that if there are no relatives of a person, then the property goes to the government, and in which case it is called escheat. Suppose if there is no legal heir left whatsoever by the person, then his or her property will be taken over by the government, and that is called escheat. Under the Christian Succession Act also there is a similar chart which can be dealt, which talks about the widow, the person living behind, widow and lineal descendant. Then the widow shares 1/3, the lineal descendants share 2/3. In case of a widow and kindred, kindred means a close family like mother, father, and children, then widow takes half and the kindred takes half. If there is no kindred and no lineal descendant, only widow, then she takes the full share. So in similar fashion, there is a chart for Parsis, Jews, and even in Muslim succession, there is a chart. The common principle used in Muslim succession, which is to be brought to the knowledge of this forum, is that while computing the Muslim succession, it is very important to see who all are the heirs, because there are defined shares for some particular class of heirs, and there are fluid shares for some other particular class of the shares. One of the most important principle over here in Muslim law is that the daughters take half of what the sons take. So if there are 2 daughters and 1 son, then there will be distribution of 2 equal parts. From one part, half, 1/4 will go to the one daughter, 1/4 to other daughter, and half share will go to the son. Now we come to our topic of the day, that is making wills. So in case of wills also, under Muslim law, there is Sharia that rules the Muslim law, and for Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians, Parsis, Jews, etc., the Indian Succession Act takes the law. The Indian Succession Act largely deals with the making and the enforceability of the wills. Testamentary succession or disposition of by wills refers to a case when the deceased leaves behind the will and the devolution of the property takes place as per his wishes expressed in his will. Now, important concept is we will be discussing the wills and the probates, which are commonly subjects that come to our light day in, day out. As per Section 2H of Indian Succession Act, will means the legal declaration of the intention of a person with respect to his property which he desires to take effect after his death. So what is this? The will is not a contract. Will is a declaration by a person. Therefore, the beneficiaries are not made a party. It is not a bilateral contract. It is a declaration by a person. What is required to happen is that the effect whereof is taken after his death and not during his lifetime. What is the will about? It's about valid disposition of his property. It is to be made during the lifetime, to be effected after the death of the person. Now, one of the very, very important concepts that needs to be again looked into here is the fact that because the will is going to take effect after the death of the testator, it is essential that the intention of the testator, that is the maker of the will, is clearly and unambiguously recorded during the making of the will. If we fail to do so, then what happens is that when the will come into action and whenever the will is questioned, at that time the person, the testator itself is not there to clarify. And therefore the words of the will needs to be very, very carefully drafted and categorically looked into. Now, a property bequeathed under the will may or may not exist. I will repeat, may or may not exist at the time of execution of the will, but it is mandatory that the bequeathed property must be in the ownership of the legator at the time of his death. The logic behind this rule is very simple. A will comes into operation after the death of the legator, and the transfer of the property to the legatee takes place from the date of legator's death and not from the date of the execution. For example, if A executes a will giving all his property to B, suppose A owns a house at the time of the execution of the will, but at the time of his death, he owns a car as well. Thus, B will be entitled to have the house and the car under the will. Now, what happens is there is a practical issue over here. We don't know what we are going to acquire tomorrow. Now, your client or the person coming before you may not know what is going to acquire. So in the will, there is a clause called a residuary clause, which is very, very essential. And it is commonly seen that this residuary clause sometimes is missing. Therefore, partially the will talks about the assets and partially it does not, which leads to confusions whether the person should go under the succession or person should go under the will. To avoid such a confusion, it is essential that a clause defining the fact that whatever is available at the time of the death of the testator should be bequeathed to one of the persons. We are aware of the properties that we have today. If I am making my will, but there will be properties that I may acquire during my lifetime, or I may sell these properties and acquire something else. So how to do the management of that property also should be considered while making a will. Why a will? Disposing of own property, avoiding family disputes, which means we have clear instructions of what is to be done, who is to be getting what, who is not to be getting what. Benefit to the spouse and persons who care. So now what happens is that there are special people in everybody's life, and there are certain people whom within our family also who have done something extra for a particular person, and you want to show care after your demise. So you can leave behind special arrangements. Also, there are people who need special arrangements in their lifetime, which you are worried about or which you care for, or which you feel that needs to be taken into consideration. All that provision can be created under the will. Undivided shares can be avoided. Now, if the will is not there, like I told you, more than one heirs in a class of heirship will take the estate commonly. Now, if there is a property, let's say there is a dwelling house which devolves upon two or more heirs. One of them, a sister and a brother. The sister is married and well off. The brother needs the money. Sister may say, I have sentimental value because my parents lived in the house. I don't want to ever sell this property. The brother is in dire need of money. The sale cannot happen because they own the property equally. Whereas if the devolution is by will, you clearly identified who is getting which property, and accordingly each person is free to deal with the properties as they may individually feel like. Similarly, distribution of family heirlooms can be clear and avoids litigation regarding the estate thereafter. And the most important benefit is that the transfer under the will does not attract stamp duty of any nature whatsoever. Now, what is the requirement to make a will? We have the person making a will should be competent to contract. There is no form necessary which defines a particular format of the will, but minimum 2 witnesses need to attest the will. A doctor's certificate is required to be taken and attested on the same day of execution and registration of the will, but on not a day later, not a day earlier. On the same day of the execution, a doctor's certificate requires to be attached, and it is a very, very important requirement. The registration is not compulsory. However, in practical scenario, what happens is that the registered will obviously holds better value in the eyes of the banks and other financial institutions, the revenue authorities and otherwise, than an unregistered will, because section 17 presumption is there that a registered document is registered and the correctness of it is not challenged. So it is advisable that it be registered. However, it is not mandatory that it should be registered. Executor can be appointed. Now, under the will, it is not mandatory to appoint an executor. An executor is basically a trustee who executes the will and who performs the actions directed by the person who is required to execute the will. He or she does not get anything under the will. They are only people who are going to give effect to your will. Similar fashion, you can make a trust also under the will. So during my lifetime, I want to hold and enjoy my property. After my lifetime, let's say I want to make a private family trust, or I want to make a public charitable trust. Then I can leave behind such instructions, appoint the trustees and direct the executors to transfer the estate to the trust, which trust will use the properties according to the benefit and directions given under the will. So this executor's role is very, very important. Legally speaking, technically, the executor being a trustee is empowered to recover the costs that the executor may have incurred for the execution of the will, and he cannot use the property for his or her own benefit, nor can he make any differences to the property other than what has been instructed. So an executor is to be someone who has to carry out the instructions of the legator in the complete format without making any changes thereto. Manner of execution: the will should be signed by 2 people, 2 witnesses along with the testator. Witnesses should sign in presence of the testator, and testator to sign in presence of the witness. This is very, very important, that the signature of the will is done in presence of the testator as well as the witnesses. The witnesses have to see the testator sign. Appointment of executor is optional as discussed and can be done only if required. The executor may not be present at the time of the signing of the will. However, and the beneficiaries are also not required at the time of signing or making or executing the will. However, they may be informed later about the execution so that after the death of the person, the executor can take charge and execute the intentions of the testator. Will under Muslim law. Like we discussed that for all other classes of people, the will is same. But under Muslim, there is one restriction that the Muslim individual cannot bequeath more than 1/3 of his total property under the will. And if there is a bequeath which is beyond 1/3 of the will, then such bequeath is bad in law unless the heirs confirm the same after the death of the testator. So suppose I as a Muslim want to bequeath my entire property today, I cannot do it. I can only do it only 1/3 of my property. And however, if there is a bequeath that is done more than 1/3 of the property, then my legal heirs after my demise should confirm my will in writing under a document, and then only my will be effective and legal. In case the heirs do not give their consent, then the bequeath will be valid to the extent of 1/3 only, and the remaining 2/3 will be transferred through intestate succession. Now, Kachi Memons and Khojas, or Ismailis as they are known as, are exception to the above mentioned rule of limitation to dispose of more than 1/3 property through will. They are allowed to transfer their entire property by will under the law of the land. Therefore, if a person is a Shia Muslim, and in Shia Muslim, if he is a Kachi Memon, or if he is a Khoja, or Ismaili as they call them, then they can transfer their whole estate under a will and not otherwise. Now, witnesses, who can be a witness, who cannot be a witness? A beneficiary has to be excluded from being witness. In case if the beneficiary becomes a witness, then the beneficiary stands absolved from taking part in the will and getting any benefit out of the will. So if you make the beneficiary as a witness, then his or her benefit under the will stands absolved, and that will go under the residuary clause, and whoever that residuary is entitled to will go to them. If the witness is the beneficiary of the residuary clause, then the will stand invalid, and the whole bequeath will go according to the law of succession by which the person is governed. The witnesses also need to be competent to contract. They should be known persons. It is not advisable, however, not mandatory, but not advisable to have unknown people to take charge and become witnesses to your will. The witness need not know the contents of the will. They are only supposed to be signing in front of the testator, and the testator needs to sign in front of the witness. The witness or the beneficiary or the executor is not required to know the contents of the will at any point of time. So though the person is known to you, she may be restricted from knowing the contents of the will, and the addresses of the witnesses are required to be recorded. So when they are required to be contacted for proving the will, the witnesses, the statement of the witness and the statement of the doctors are taken into the consideration by the probating court. So those people will be contacted at that time. So it is essential that these people are known to you. Their addresses are mentioned over there. It is also preferred that the age of the witnesses should be younger than the age of the testator. So younger age is preferred. The basic rule behind this is that this preference goes to show that the witnesses will outlive the testator, and therefore, if required to come to the court to prove the will be available for proving the same. Like already covered, the witnesses should see the executor sign, and each witness should see the other witness sign also, and should be available for proving in the courts of law as may be required later on. Now, these are some suggestions for practical dealing of the wills. All details of the wills need to be added. Details of the property in the will need to be added correctly and in detail. What happens is that a lot of times it is seen that the details are incomplete. You will write shop number 3 on in Sai Samarth, Kondwa, Pune. Now you don't know what is Sai Samarth, Kondwa, Pune. It's incomplete details. Sometimes the shop number is missing. Sometimes the area of the shop is missing. Sometimes if there is a society, we need to add share certificate details. We need to add, if there are bank accounts, if there are mutual funds, then the CRN numbers, the bank account numbers, the branch details, other details need to be added so that the clarity is kept at the time of execution. It becomes easier. It is suggested again that the will should be registered, because registered will carry better weightage. The age of witness we've dealt with. The corrections or a lot of cutting, pasting, corrections, handwriting, markings, all these things should be avoided, because that can create a confusion for the people, executor as well as the probating court, to understand the intention of the testator. So it is very, very advisable that a clean, neat writing or typing is done, and a lot of corrections or minimal correction or no corrections are suggested. The will should be signed on all pages. One of the very, very important things that is required if the will is unregistered is that signatures on all pages should be taken, because sometimes they say page change kar diya, this was not what was written. I'm sure my father would not have made such an arrangement. I'm sure my mother would not have made such an arrangement. If all pages are signed, then that question of any tampering of the will goes away. The will is required to be attested by a photograph and thumb impression of the testator as well as the witnesses on the last page. And all ID proofs of all witnesses should be mentioned in the will. It is also suggested that we may choose to do a video shooting while execution to prevent challenge in the future and to avoid suspicious circumstances. The only mode of challenge of a will always is to say that the will was made under coercion. Will was made under the situation where the person was not competent to contract or capable of making decisions. And we should try and avoid that. So all the precautions that can be taken, depending on the circumstances, depending the age, depending on the family background of the legatee, need to be taken at that time. Now, purpose of religion or charity. Now, sometimes people want to give all their properties to charity. Now, the law is very, very clear that a person having a nephew or niece, means class 1, class 2 or class 3, any legal heirs, cannot bequeath his property for religious or charitable purposes unless the will is executed not less than 12 months before his death. So if you have a near relative, you cannot simply get up and say that I want to give my property to charity and none of my relatives should get anything. This normally is given, this 12-month of cooling period is given under the law for two reasons. First and foremost, that in the process of haste or anger or any normal fight within the family that may arise between the family, the person can make a will and just debar everybody from the will, saying मेरा कोई ध्यान नहीं रखता है, मेरी किसको पड़ी नहीं है, I will give everything to charity, I don't want to give anything to these people. So if that is done, then there is a 12-month cooling period. So if a person has outlived 12 months and has upheld his decision, then the law of the land takes the decision to be binding and acceptable. Second and very important reason is at the time of death, when a person is on his deathbed, in the hospital, in the situation where he feels that he is very near to his death, he wants to do good deeds at the end of his life and feels that all my property should be given to charity. Now, at this point in time, the family of that person may be adversely affected. So, in the interest of equity, the people are supposed to be taken into consideration, and therefore, this 12-month cooling period is there. Now, we have another part of this. If it is not 12 months before the death, then the will has to be deposited within 6 months from his execution with the testator, with the executor, and in a locker, and it remains in such deposit till his death. So it should not be that somebody is getting the property returned away to someone else, to the charity or the trust, without the consent and concurrence of the person who is wanting to make the will. So you are free to make the will, you are free to give your property to charity, but there are conditions that at least you should have a 12-month cooling period, or when you make the will, deposit it within 6 months in a locker, and it remains in such deposit, and it is not tampered and not dealt after it is deposited with the third party. Revocation and codicil. Now, like we are all clear that a will can be changed n number of times during the lifetime of the testator. a will is revoked by making another will. So when there is a subsequent will that comes into picture, the earlier will automatically stands revoked. However, it is advised that if you have more than one wills made, then you write details of all the previous wills and specifically state a revocation. The prevailing will be the last will and testament of the testator or the deceased. So if there are more than one wills, to avoid confusion, this was right, that was right, this was created by him, that was created by him, it is advised that the will is clearly recording the previous will. So either you can execute a revocation document to effect revoke the previous wills and make a separate will, or in the subsequent will you can write down the details of all previous wills which record excuse me, which record the previous wills which are being revoked under the last will. There is also another option of burning, tearing, destroying by self or under directions. Whether if the will is being kept with the executor or with some third party, with your lawyer, with your chartered accountants, with your doctors, with your family friends, then you can under written instructions direct them to destroy or tear the will, and accordingly the will stand revoked. Codicils. Now, codicil is an addition or supplement that explains, modifies, or revokes a will or a part of the will. Now, what happens is, suppose I have details of 100 properties or 100 items, including my movable, immovable, tangible, intangible, my IPR, intellectual property rights, my royalties that I get, all those things have been defined in the will. However, a new child is born in the family and I want to make certain arrangements for the child. Or my son has now gotten married and I want to leave behind something to my daughter-in-law. Or there is some other change that I see. Or my wife, suppose, supersedes, predeceases me, and some arrangements given to her need to be now clarified. So it is not essential that every time a new will in its entirety be made. A codicil can be made and registered. If a registered will, if the will is registered, the codicil essentially has to be registered. And codicil can only deal with the part which needs to be changed or supplemented. These are some of the common mistakes that we see while making a will. Not explaining the exclusions of natural beneficiaries. This means that when there are family members, when there are people in your house, it is presumed that there will be some arrangement that will be made or kept for all the beneficiaries. Now, if you are not making a some arrangement for your daughter who is married, well settled and well off, or if you are not making some arrangements for your son living in America who is well settled, then you have to mention even if in one line, it should be covered so that the natural thought process of the person who would normally think about all his heirs at the time of the will comes into light, and it does not amount that the other beneficiaries were left behind and the only beneficiary who is getting the will has gotten the will made and there is any coercion. Not signing on all pages, not endorsing corrections. First of all, we should not have corrections on the will. If at all there are, then it is very, very important that corrections should be endorsed. One of the very, very common mistakes is there is no date on the will. If you don't find the date on the will, which is the last will, is a problem. The doctor's certificate is separately got, but it's not attached to the will is another common mistake that we see. Normally, in continuation or on the last page of the will, you should get the doctor to countersign the will and provide his certificate on the will itself, so that it does not amount to the later addition of the doctor's certificate. There are no witnesses or only one witness is seen in the will. One witness makes the will illegal and does not, the enforceability is lost of the will. In case of the society, we see that the property is nominated to son A and the property is bequeathed to the wife. Now there it creates confusions, and because of this confusion, what happens is that who should supersede? This is also a very, very common question that has come up before us a long time, where whether nomination supersedes the will or otherwise. A clear answer to that is the will supersede the nomination. Nomination only creates a trusteeship in the nominee. Nomination under the rules of the society are kept or defined so as to enable the society to contact, deal with, and continue with their process of voting, charging maintenance, and others. from a person who is responsible out of the entire legal heirs. Suppose if the property is given to 5 legal heirs, all 5 may not be having the similar vote, or may not be able to vote, or may not be remain present before the society, and therefore it is essential that the nomination, the society will contact the nominee of the apartment and start dealing with the nominee immediately. However, if the property is bequeathed to a bequeathy, then the beneficiary will take charge of the property, and the nomination will shall supersede the nomination. Now we come to probate. Section 213 of the Indian Succession Act describes what is probate. It deals with probates. Right as an executor or legatee is established after the death of the testator, and the executor or the legatee is entitled to seek a probate from the court of law. If the will is made in any of the presidency towns, that is Mumbai, Madras, and Chennai, and Delhi, then the property, then the probate becomes compulsory. If the will is made out of the presidency towns, but at the time of the properties are of in the presidency towns also, then the probate is mandatory. When a probate is mandatory, at that point in time, the will becomes effective only after the probate is received and not otherwise. So that is an exception to the normal rule of the will, which comes immediately into the effect at the time of the death of the testator, where in these situations, the probate is compulsory. No right as an executor or legatee can be established in any court of justice unless a court of competent jurisdiction in India has granted probate of the will under which right is claimed, or has granted a letters of administration with the will, or with a copy of an authenticated copy of the will annexed thereto. Now, the probating court, it is very, very important to see that the probating, what is the duty of the probating court? The probating court does not give us check the veracity of the will. They will not go into contents of the will, whether the bequeath is correct or not. They will only see if the will is executed as per the required requirements provided under the probating court. So under the will and the probating court, if the witnesses come and give their statement, if the doctor's certificate is attached, and if the doctor's statement is recorded, then the court will hold the will valid unless challenged otherwise and proven otherwise, that the will was made under coercion, or under some or there is a suppression of material facts, or there is any other case which leads to make the will invalid. So the probating, once the probating court makes the will valid, then the will is effected immediately, and the beneficiaries under them can make the will, can take advantage of the will. Another last concept under this will be joint and mutual wills. A joint will distribute the property of 2 or more people, usually a married couple, together. Joint wills determine what will happen to the couple's property after one spouse dies, and also what will happen to the property after the second spouse dies. Though it may seem inconvenient to a couple to make just one will, joint wills can cause problems for the surviving spouse, because it ties up the property and restrict what he or she can do. Now what happens is that it may amount to life interest, as detailed and dealt earlier. This may amount to creation of life interest. So one very common thing that we see is people come to us and ask, can we make one will, husband and wife? Where husband says that it will go to my wife and then to my children, then a life interest is created in favor of the wife. So in dire need, the wife cannot take advantage of the situation of the property left behind by the husband, or vice versa. Or there are any specific bequests which may be entangling the other people together. This may create a confusion under the will. I think I have explained enough on the wills, and now I would like to get questions from you also. We can make this session into a discussion session rather than one-way dialogue. Chaitanya ji, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So can we have questions from the group now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because only I think half an hour is remaining, so I thought I might as well curtail my presentation so that we can discuss largely about the group. It will make it better. I get a question in the chat box. Suppose the asset includes foreign assets, how does the will help? I think the normal rule is that the foreign law takes its course. As far as the will is concerned, you can include foreign assets. There is no problem. Will and marriage certificates are documents that are worldwide accepted from each part of the country to the other part. But it is essential that the law of that land will be very, very important to take. Place of making the will is of no importance. Indian courts give importance to the intentions of the testator. So the section 87 of the Indian Succession Act lays down the general principle followed by Indian courts. Let's say a Hindu living in California, USA need not come to India to make a will. As per Indian laws, she can make a valid will at his or her home in California. So that is important, that the law of the land is taken into consideration. I hope that answers that question. Is the will to be registered and how stamp duty is to be decided? I have dealt with that. The will is not compulsorily required to be registered, but it is suggested that it be registered because a registered will hold better value before the courts, banks, and other financial institutions, revenue authorities. There is no stamp duty that is applicable to the will, and it is free of cost. Just because this is a chartered accountants forum, I would also like to make a small comment over here, is the fact that sometimes we have certain movable assets like antiques, like valuables that are not on record. Otherwise, a will is also an instrument where people try to bring such things on record because there is no stamp applicable for transfer. So otherwise, what is not on record is also recorded in the will and then given to the beneficiary. The next question that has come to me, Mr. Sunil says, what are the drawbacks in having one of the beneficiaries as executor of the will? Beneficiaries can be executors of the will, but their role becomes dual. If there are more than one beneficiary, then the other beneficiary might have a question. See, the executor is a trustee of the will. So what happens is, question of misappropriation of trust or criminal breach of trust is very, very easy to be enforced against the beneficiary. Beneficiary can definitely be the executor of the trustee if there is harmony within the beneficiaries. But if there is a fight within the beneficiaries, then this could lead to creation of issues. Mr. Ajay Soni has his question. In case both witnesses are died before the person who made the will, how its validity will check? If they are died, then the validity is presumed that it is a valid will, and those people have been taken into consideration. Therefore, it is essential and it is advised that you have the younger people who are attesting the will. Then we have a question whether succession certificate is still required from the court if there is no will. A succession certificate is basically dealing with the fact that who are the successors of the deceased, and it deals with the properties where there is no will. So a succession certificate is to come up with the successors of the deceased. So if there is a will, then a succession certificate may not be required. That also saves your time from going to a court. And in the case of a will, there is a probate. If there is no will, then you can get a succession certificate. Can a person make will of HUF property or at least a share of a co-partner who is making a will? Yes, you can make a will of your share in the co-partnery. Now, co-partnery is a Pandora's box, like all of us understand. What happens is that this share in the co-partnery is fluid because it increases and decreases with the incoming and outgoing co-partner, and therefore we do not know. So there you have to be a little vague, where you say my share in the co-partnery will be going under the will to so and so. That is possible, but you may not be able to exactly define on what is a co-partnery this thing. What is your share in the co-partnery, as it may change at the time of the death of the testator. How long does it take to get a probate as compared to a succession certificate? Both of them normally take a similar timeline. It's about 2 to 3 years that it takes to go to the court and make an application and get both, depending on the situation and on the timeline. How long does it take to take a probate as, I think we've done that, sorry. Whether the person in whose favor life interest is created can sell the property during his lifetime? No, sir. The property is life interest means that it can be used during the lifetime, and if the instructions so provide, there the benefit or income from the life interest property can be received by the person in whose favor life interest is created. I will explain the concept of life interest once again. Like say I am making the will, I have a wife and 2 children, I want the property ultimately to go to my children. I create a life interest in favor of my wife and bequeath the property to my children. So my wife can during her lifetime use the house or the properties which are in which life interest is created, get rental income, maybe give it on lease, maybe do whatever is required with them, but she cannot sell the property as it is not belonging to her, it is belonging to my children in the ultimate situation. I hope that answers that question. What if both witnesses are deceased? How can probate be achieved from the court? The executor or beneficiary has to prove with the surrounding circumstances like the doctor, the handwriting analysis, etc., and other such situations are taken into consideration if the will is challenged. So when essentially a will is going to the court, it's not necessary that every time it is being challenged. If you go to a probate and if the heirs are all in synchronization, there is no problem. Only if the fact that there is a difficulty between the heirs, there is a challenge, then this long drawn story of proving the will with the help of the doctor and with the help of the signature expert or handwriting expert वगैरह is required. Exact details of assets are mandatory or are just to make execution easy? Yes, sir, it is just to make the execution easy. Exact details are not mandatory. The will could be as vague as to say one paragraph, all that is mine should go to my wife absolutely and forever after my demise. So that one line in itself is very, very important and clear. You can make a will of one paragraph also, but if you keep those details clear, then it becomes execution is easy. You can enforce the will with those people in a clearer sense. What if resident Indian leaves assets to non-resident relative when no will? I didn't get that question. Pankaj, can you please elaborate that question? I'm unable to understand that question.
Pankaj sir, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, we can deal with Pankaj's question in the larger interest of the group.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
What is the implication, sir, when there is no will, when the person is resident in India, leaves behind the movable and immovable assets for the non-resident relative only? I mean,
so if I understand this question correctly, you mean to say that I am living in America, I am living in India, my children and my family live abroad, America, and I die. Correct? That is what you are asking.
Okay. Right.
No, what happens is that my children, see, the law of the land is like this. If there is a will, the property is bequeathed by the will. If there is no will, then the law of succession immediately takes its course. So if a person deceased is a Hindu, then as per Hindu Succession Act, class 1 heirs will get equally the properties. If the person is a Muslim, then as per the Muslim succession, the properties will devolve immediately upon the death. So the devolution of the assets happen on the death of the testator immediately. And this also brings us to another explanation or clarification that I may give to the house, is the fact of presumption of the death. Suppose if there is a husband, wife, mother and father traveling in a plane and they all die by the plane crash. Okay. In that unfortunate situation, what will be dealt with is the fact that the elder person died just before the younger person. So the father's estate will go to the mother's estate. Mother's estate will go to the son's estate. The son's estate will devolve upon the wife, and from the wife it will go to the legal heirs. That is how the presumption is held. So if what your question is, I have understood now that if a person is living in India, leave behind his properties to non-resident Indians or to anybody, then his legal heirs are automatically become the owner of the property jointly in the share that they hold. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir. Can you throw some light on private trust through wills? Private trust through wills can be created. A testamentary trust is essentially a trust created by will. It must therefore comply with the laws relating to trust as well as those relating to the wills. Private trusts are governed by the Indian Trust Act. Under the Trust Act, to create a testamentary trust, a trust testator must bequeath all or some of his property under the will to a person trustee to hold and utilize it for stated purposes for the benefit of one or more beneficiaries. What we can do over there is, a private trust can be very well created. You can make a trust, you can define the trustees who cannot be the executor also. So there can be one executor, then can be 3 other trustees. A private trust for the benefit of one of the child or your wife or some other person can be created. And the properties can stand part of the will also, not all your properties. Suppose you want these 2 properties should go to a private trust and they should be taking care of education of my children. So that private trust will take care of education of the children only and to that extent only. I hope that answers the question. Then, is English language mandatory for the will? No, sir. There is no language mandatory. You can write in whatever language you are comfortable. Wills can be typed, handwritten, or made to be written. So it can be if a person is not in a position to write, he or she can instruct the other person to write down and and make the person to write. The only thing is each page has to be signed and the witness execution has to be created. If will is made in English by a testator who does not know English, then there should be an averment that he has been made to understand what is written therein. This is absolutely correct. Generally, there is a paragraph added that it is read over by the person I have understood. Even when you go to the registrar office, at that time, the registrar will also take a statement and ask you whether you understand what is written in the will, whether this has been made by you only, whether the contents thereof have been explained or understood by you. So this is very, very important. Jitendra Jain sir, thank you. This is right. Can a person include HUF property in the will? The person making the will is Karta or of HUF. No, he or she can only include his or her share in the co-partnery of the HUF. So the Karta is also a trustee and is acting on behalf of the HUF and in the favor of the HUF. Therefore, he or she cannot bequeath the property of the HUF under his will. It is not his property. The Karta is just acting on behalf of the family and is a trustee of all the family members and therefore the co-partners and needs to act in that case. Whether life interest can be created on investments in mutual fund units, shares, PMS, bank FDs, etc. Yes, they can take the benefit of interest or they can take the benefit of the income. So life interest, as discussed earlier, essentially means the fact that the person in whose the life interest is being created. So if you say, let's say, if I make an FD and I give a life interest of that FD to my wife, then in similar fashion, how she could use my house, she can get interest of the FD, but she may not be able to, use the principal amount of the FD. So that is the property, and life interest when it is created in that property, this can be done. Similarly, in shares, dividends can be achieved. You may give a right to change the shares, but you may restrict the life interest to the investment in mutual fund. So the benefit of the mutual fund can be given, but not the mutual fund in itself. If the mutual fund is given, then it is completely given to the person. Then it's not a life interest. Then we come to, can a will be made wherein I give all my asset to my wife with all rights to dispose the asset? If she dies without a will, then I direct it should go to so and so person. No, sir. If you say it goes to your wife, then whatever happens upon her death is governed by her succession laws or her will. You cannot decide that if she does not choose to make a will, I will decide for her. So when a property is bequeathed to a particular individual, then the property vests in that person. However, this also establishes a very important another concept is that while making a will, we should make sure that the benefit is given to a person, and the condition of predeceasing that person is also very, very specific. Which means that suppose if my father is bequeathing the property to me in his will, then he should also make sure to write that what if I predecease him, which may be the case. In that case, either it can go to my legal heirs, it can go to my wife and my children, or it can go back to him, it can go back to my mother, or it can go to anybody else. So whatever those instructions are, they need to be very, very clear and crisp. Can one transfer the property to, 1 second, I think, did I deal with the earlier question? Can a will be made wherein, yes, this, can one transfer the property to HUF in a will? HUF is a person and therefore can be a beneficiary under the will. The person, the deceased can say that I want to bequeath my property to the HUF, and therefore it is possible to transfer. Can a will be made in favor of a close friend bypassing any legal heirs or relatives? Yes, sir. In case of Muslims, no, 1/3 only you can give in case, or by the confirmation of the legal heirs of all the testators after the death of the testator. In any other case, yes. Again, it is advisable if the cooling period of 12 months can be availed. Abhayji, can joint will be made, and is it advisable to do so? Like we discussed, joint wills can be made. There is no problem. Husband and wife can make joint wills. But the problem is that when joint wills are there, it is not advisable as far as practicality is concerned, because under the joint will, the properties are decided in, there are too many ifs and buts. It makes the question a little complicated. Also, in that fact, what happens is when I make the will and there are joint wills, the creation of life interest is very, very common feature that has been coming to our light, and therefore the person in whose favor the actual bequeath has to be done gets stuck in the matter. Looks like I have answered all the questions. If there are any further questions, I am happy to take.
So, are there any further questions, or if anything wants to ask? Yes, sir, there is one more question.
Yes, whether the beneficiaries can sell the property if there is life interest in favor of another person with his consent? Yes. With the consent of the life interest person, the properties can be sold. The consent has to be explicit. Normally, on the sale deed, the person in whose favor the life interest is created has to be a confirming party on the document. And if that is done, definitely the property can be sold or dealt with.
If there are any questions, or if anyone wants to ask anything, you can unmute yourself. Yes, Ramakrishnan sir. Hello. Are there any questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now we can hear you.
Okay. My question is, if the person having the life interest is a minor, can still that can be done with that person's consent?
No, in case of minors, the consent is sought from the district court. So whether it is a minor who is the owner of the property, or whether a minor is a beneficiary as a life interest in the property, the district court is supposed to be the general guardian, and the district court gives the permission in that case. But the district court, while granting such permission, will lay down certain conditions which need to be fulfilled and after the execution of the will.
Thank you.
I think we have one or two more questions.
Two more questions, yes.
Unregistered, but financial institutions are not accepting. What is the resolution? You can write to the financial institutions. You can go to the ombudsman up to that, and you can enforce your right, because registered will is not compulsory. One very easy and practical solution that normally we as lawyers follow is to give the NOC of the legal heirs. So what happens is, the financial institution is worried about the fact that tomorrow legal heir may claim and start a dispute with the financial institution. So financial institutions are also trustees. They may also come into the situation where they are taken to task for giving up the funds to one party vis-a-vis the other. At that time, if the NOC of all the legal heirs is there along with the unregistered will, the financial institutions are more inclined to take it. it is binding and mandatory for them to accept it. Another way to go about it, and the most correct and simple way, would be get a probate of the will. Once the probating court has attested the will, the financial institutions have no right to ask any questions about it. In case all executors are died, what is the solution for this situation? Sir, when the executors are not there, the beneficiary can go ahead and execute the will. The beneficiaries can obtain letter of administration from the court, wherein they can choose to take it by themselves. They can go to the court and get another executor appointed also. So that is also a provision under law where you can get a beneficiary, executor appointed, which the court will normally do on your behalf. Or the court can give you a letter of administration where you are allowed to administer the estate on your own.
Are there any further questions? Imran sir, one request from my side.
Yes, sir.
So can you just start your video so everyone can see you?
Sure, sir.
Yes.
There you are.
If we cross paths, at least we can say hi.
Sure, sure.
Is there anything else?
Many times the nominees are treated as beneficial owners. No, sir. The nominees are just the nominees and they are not the beneficial owners. The Supreme Court has time and again clarified this. And there are various judgments to that effect. If you need help, we can connect offline and I can provide you with necessary research on the fact and we can take it further.
Is there anything else? You can unmute yourself. Instead of typing, you can unmute and you can ask directly also. Sir, is there anything you would like to add upon?
Just last thing that because it deals with a lot of personal laws and a lot of other laws, it is better to have a consultation with one of the legal side practitioners while making the will, which will help you on a case-to-case basis to understand what is required under the will and if there are any questions to that effect. Apart from that, I think I'm done. We have one more question.
Two questions.
What person meaning will be executor both die and the beneficiary does not know about the will? So if the will is unknown to the person, then I think you can't do anything about it unless the will is in front of you. The beneficiary should. That's why I told you that when the will is made, the contents of the will may not be informed to the beneficiary or the executor or the attesting witnesses. So there are about 4 or 5 people involved: the lawyer, the doctor, 2 witnesses, executor, and the beneficiaries. These 5 are the people who are involved. One of them will talk to you about the will. If not, then bad luck. I mean, then you can't do anything about it because unless the will is present before you, you may not be able to be taking into consideration. Piyush sir, thank you so much for your compliments. Sachin sir, can you please explain about probate? Is it mandatory? Yes, sir. Probate is mandatory in 2 conditions. Whether the properties are situated in the 4 metro cities of India. Earlier it is taken as 3 presidency towns: Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. However, in general situation, it is dealt that even Delhi is considered now where the probate is compulsory. Probate is compulsory if the will is made there or if the property is in the will. If one or more properties are in any of these metro cities, then the probate is mandatory and not otherwise.
I think we are done with the questions.
Looks like.
Yes, yes.
I hope I have made good use of your time early morning on a Saturday.
Yes,
and
sir,
I really appreciate nice audience. Thank you so much for having me here. Yes. And it was a pleasure interacting with you all.
Sir, we are very thankful for inviting you once again over here. It was really a great session. As Piyush Bhai said, it was a powerful session and extremely thorough and knowledgeable. As you covered right from the basics, whether the will is prepared, not prepared, and the charts. It was really like even to a layman, it was easily we could connect to it. And so thank you once again for your time. And the questions. So we ended on 10. I was like, abhi kya itne questions ho gaya, and it's 10:30. So almost for half an hour questions ही आ रहे थे. So इतना powerful session वो question से ही समझ जाता है सर कि इतना लोगों को समझा है.
क्वेश्चन आए तो समझाए, नहीं तो या तो सब समझ गए, नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं समझा है.
यहाँ पे हाफ एन आवर मतलब ज्यादा समझ गए हैं.
I am happy. I am happy. If I have made good use of your time this morning, I am really happy about it.
Yes,
If
sir.
there's anything
100%.
else you need clarity on, I am always available. You can connect with me at any time.
Yes, yes. Thank you once again. And sir, we will be contributing to the CA Benevolent Fund on behalf of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you once again for your time and effort, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you from
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you.